I was asking them a million questions to figure out if I liked it or not. And I was really pleasantly surprised with like all of the people that I met there, right? Like the bottom people, the non-leadership. The leadership, I think they're a good leadership team. But I really wanted to be a part. Okay, listen, maybe this is just my feelings being hurt, but I really wanted to be an active part of some of this stuff, right? And like, I reached out to Haz, and then he responded once, and then he never responded again. I wanted to commit to it because I've been developing, this, you probably don't know this, but I've been developing like, I don't know if it's an intellectual or a theoretical framework, but I've just been developing a framework or like a philosophy. I'm just working on stuff intellectually, but it's about like virtualism and scales of intelligences, right? So like, you can think of it as collectives, but it's really more expansive than just humans. I've really realized the value and importance of this kind of plur structure and the value for a sing, for like an individual in the human context, to join themselves with it, right? Like if we think about ants, which were a hyperfixation of mine from a young age, always been a big fan of ants and other social animals, or like social insects specifically. If we think about ants by themselves aren't that powerful, right? And ants aren't that effective. They can do a decent amount by themselves, but they can't do a lot. And even if you get one of those like pre-made farms that comes with like, I don't know, 50 to 100 ants or something, the like gel ones, they just die after a couple weeks. It's not a self-sustaining organism. But if you're able to kind of get this plur structure, right? Because it's a plural virtual intelligence, it's a plurvert, it's a plur. It has all the components of the OSRI model. Well, it's the framework I've developed for understanding what it means to be an intelligence rather than just like a memory store, or like what it means to be like intelligent, right? I feel like that's really a question everybody's asking right now. It's like, what does it mean to be an intelligent? But again, I'm getting distracted because this is not the topic of the video. This video is about ACP, the American Communist Party. So I wanted to go see for myself what the deal was with this group. And I managed to join the group before the national convention. And I was invited because they wanted everybody there. They wanted all hands on deck. They said this should be considered mandatory unless you can't go, right? Like they're not gonna like beat anybody or not promote anybody for it, but Haz and like the leadership team wanted everybody here. So my leadership invited me along. The people local to me, we ended up sharing an Airbnb, right? Like they'd already had the housing. They had the space for me to just come up. So I just needed to get my transportation up there, which was nice. I had to pay like $15 to join ACP. That was the reserve cost. I think it's $15 a month unless you're a Cadre, and then it's free. So I joined, and then I made it up there at like 4 a.m. on the first day. I made it to Chicago. And now I'm on a little adventure on a public transport at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'm at 8% left, y'all. I have 20 minutes until this bus comes. Burps. My flights kept getting delayed, which sucked, but it was fine, Burp, 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 burp. We made it to the walk. I make it up there at like 4 a.m. They did wait up for me, like 2 of them, right? 2 of them that also got there late that night stayed awake for me to make sure that I got in safely and that the house was like locked up. It might have been their own anxieties, but I felt looked after. I felt like my group had my back, and this is strangers. I had never met any of these people. I was barely in the group for like a week, and I was there, right? I guess I was in the group for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I was just there, right? But I felt looked after. It was cool. But then that day, that morning, like, I don't know, people started filtering down. There were a bunch of people in the house. There were like, a substantial number that were staying there. Wide variety of personalities and characters. I need to get water. Give me 1 second. Spent most of the next day with them. The first day was a May Day celebration, but before we actually went to the May Day celebration, we just kind of hung out. I asked a million questions, right? Because they kind of knew I was there as like a YouTuber-ish person. Like I'd sent my YouTube to 1 or 2 of them. I didn't make it super public, but I also didn't hide it that I was a YouTuber. And then when I was there, I kept saying like, yeah, I think I'm gonna make a video or like an article or something. I really did want to join a plur, a group, to speak like a normal human being. I did want to join a group, but I just didn't know what group was right. So like I was asking them a million questions to figure out if I liked it or not. And I was really pleasantly surprised with like all of the people that I met there, right? Like the bottom people, the non-leadership. The leadership, I think they're a good leadership team, but I really wanted to be a part. Okay, listen, maybe this is just my feelings being hurt, but I really wanted to be an active part of some of this stuff, right? And like I reached out to Haz, and then he responded once, and then he never responded again. I sent so many messages, and I felt so bad. But once you send them, you know, have you ever been in that situation where it's like, okay, once I send them, I've already sent them. I might as well keep sending. Anyways, it's fine. But then I did reach out to him again because I wanted to talk to him after the celebration. I wanted to see if I could like get an interview with him or something. I don't know. I thought that would be really cool. And then he didn't answer, but it was fine. So I guess to go back into the story, the first day was a May Day celebration. So we went to Humboldt Park, I think it was, or I don't know if it was Humboldt Park. We went to some park or like place where we could walk around. There was like stairs. We took the pictures there, right? It's on the ACP social media. I'll just play like a 2-second clip of it here. That was the first day, and it was really cool. You know, I kind of just milled about meeting people. I remember that like that day was really cool because I was feeling really nervous. I was a little in my head that day, but I ended up just milling about, meeting a ton of people. I kind of forced myself to just talk to people, right? And like I was asking a ton of questions, just asking for their experiences, opinions of the organization. Again, everybody on the ground seemed really awesome. And then personally, I felt pretty awkward. I don't think there were any other trans women there. Well, actually, I think there might have been one other trans woman, but I think she might have been like an older trans woman earlier in her transition, if she was trans. Or it could have just been a dude with a statistically average female name. Back to my experiences, I personally did not feel like they were transphobic. Like, here's what I'll say, right? So messy, but yeah. You can just peel it off in the shower after. They don't want you to know that is trick. It's so much easier than painting inside the lines. Especially if you have shaky hands like me. I'm biologically shaky. Call me ASAP. Assigned shaky and burn. Anyway, I would not say that they were transphobic, personally. I would say that like,